180-degree different story, and why his ideas are right.
Sounds familiar.
So it'll be interesting.
You can probably buy different sizes, right? And
Right.
larger, the more
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, and I'm gonna inquire as to if it would be
Okay,
my small ones, dump them into a rearing pond to let them
Okay.
get bigger.
here we go. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
11/2021, and call to order and roll call. Tim.
Here.
Brett
Here.
and Brad.
Here.
Lee. Justin.
Hi.
Hi, I stood up. Yeah.
Invisible man tonight.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Oh, shit.
I'll be here.
No, right, Brad.
I would like to add a 10-minute executive session for attorney-client privileges. And if that is all, then I move to adopt.
Where are you putting it?
We can put it down here at the bottom. We'll need to keep the crowd.
Mayor, council?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a motion then, Tim?
Yes.
And do we have a second?
I'll say it.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 1491.
Second.
Yeah, let's do this out of order. I missed it.
Yeah, we can go back to the minutes, so we can, do you want to do that or what?
Sounds good. You second it?
Yeah. Okay. Tim,
Yes.
Brett? This is on the ordinance 1491.
Yeah.
Justin
Yes.
and Brad.
Yes.
And now I move to approve the minutes. This is of September 27th and October 1st.
Second.
All in favor? All, any opposed or abstaining
I'm abstaining.
from both of them or just the October 1st one?
The
Or do you
October
wanna
1st, I
separate it?
wasn't here.
Okay. We already did this one. Any public comments or anything? No? All right, moving right along. Let's see, did you say that Mike would be in here a little bit?
No, he's not coming.
All right.
Water plant's acting up.
Oh, that's why you guys were
Yeah,
talking. All right, Stephanie, do you have a report?
not much. Just you guys have the letter that I received today by email. I printed that off for everybody. So if you have any questions with that, and I believe that is it.
Has Todd seen this yet?
Ooh, well, I don't know. I emailed it to everyone. Todd, did you get the email on 518 East Second property?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any problems with that, or do you want to make any adjustments to that letter, Todd?
No, I think that, I mean, it sounds like kind of what you guys were asking for, wasn't it? I mean, at the last
Yes.
meeting.
Okay. We just wanted to get a letter and then have it looked over by you.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's fine if we want to go to the next step then and actually, I guess it sounds like there was a question of maybe whether you had to offer it like a bid process. I don't think that's required. It's not park property, so you guys can move to a contract with this or not, or whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, we've had it at a couple of meetings. It's been on in the minutes. Do you guys want to wait a little bit longer or just move ahead with this?
Is there any problem doing it without a set dollar amount on here to be received? And not that I'm even interested in receiving beyond the dollar. I mean, you know, the stipulation that it gets torn down is more important to me than, you know, any monetary value we could get out of this property.
Todd, do we have to have a monetary value on this property, or is it just enough for them to say that they're gonna spend thousands of dollars tearing that building down and cleaning it up?
So it's enough. I mean, ultimately, he's just gonna have to show something like for $1 another value consideration. That
Okay,
consideration is actually that the house will be removed by these folks. So
all right.
I would probably suggest that whatever agreement, whether it be through deeding it to them or otherwise, have that expressly conditional and time limited, meaning they don't have, 10 years to do it. They have to do it.
All right, do you need to write that up then, Todd?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Would you bring that to the next meeting, or if we vote on it now and he writes it, well, we should still want to look at it. Do you still want to look at it?
Yeah, I don't think you need to accept it right now.
Okay,
I'll put that down to draft the deed and the brief agreement and get it done. And then you can approve it when it's actually in front of you.
thank you, Todd.
You betcha.
Okay, cool.
Is there any interest in putting it up for sale just to see?
Well, it's been,
It hasn't.
you want to advertise it, you
I'm
mean?
just curious if
Well, anybody that, you could do that, advertise it even now, and it would be in the paper probably once or twice
wouldn't you
before the
want
next
to
meeting.
swim in those waters just to find out if anybody even is
Want to
interested in it?
spend 5 to 7,000, sure.
It wouldn't cost us anything,
It's up
or
to you.
hardly anything to advertise it.
Just to
I
run
mean,
whatever the ad is
to
for.
advertise it. Just to see what kind of, and if you get nothing, then you've already got an offer, so you move on.
Yeah.
But you're skipping the whole process that you may potentially make a little bit of money on. No, doesn't matter to me either way.
I mean, I don't have strong feelings about it either. Like I said, the most important thing to me is, hey, we're getting rid of
Yeah.
a flooded property, and that's a plus in my eyes. But
The only thing that I'm thinking is, if I'm correct, I thought the neighbors on each side had an interest in it. Was that
I
right?
did talk to Charlie. Charlie said that he could not.
That's the other
afford-
neighbor?
Yes.
Okay.
And he just couldn't afford it at this time to share halvesies on them. And the neighbors talked and they understand. They were talking about sharing halvesies on it and clearing it off and all that, but Charlie can't afford it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to speak for them, but I don't even think the option of splitting it or any of that is even on the table anymore. So
Yeah, well, yeah, I asked him.
they're not gonna,
I reached out and chit chatted with him, so. Okay. Well,
Anyway, you think about that and go.
Well,
He's writing it up for the next meeting, so.
but no,
If you
I'm
wanna
saying
get
that
it
if you
in the
want to do it,
paper.
let's put it in the paper this week
Oh,
and next week.
which it wouldn't be able to be in there till next week. She
Well,
has
at
to
least
have
one
the
time.
deadline. Yeah.
Okay, so we can put it in the paper then for advertising. Besides, once again, it's on camera and word of mouth.
base offer plus you're required to tear down the house.
Yes,
So, and just see, if you don't get any, then you move right along.
Sure, we would know by the next meeting.
She'll run one ad in the paper.
yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a motion for such a thing?
Well, we need a
Need a motion, don't we?
time period too, probably to
Oh,
tear
okay,
down.
okay.
I'd
So
say
6
before the
months.
first of the year,
6 months. Well, that doesn't make
almost a
6
quarter of
months.
a year.
Before
the
the
tear down?
first of this year
Mhm.
or January?
Why? What's the hurry?
Just to get it down. I mean, we tend to drag things on a lot, so I just like to have it done and over with as quickly as possible. I mean, we could, if the sale's gonna go through at the end of October, then January or November, December,
Well,
January, then like,
they put 6 months on there. Let's see, we would remove the abandoned property within 6 months of acquiring the property.
April.
But I have a feeling they're gonna take it down really quick, but they just didn't, just in case something came up, you know?
Yeah, the only thing is you're fighting winter. I mean, if we were looking at this in spring, you know, I'd say, yeah, 3 months, that's probably gonna be doable. But that's the only thing I worry about is, you know, if we get a harsh early winter and then, you know, and I mean, we can always extend too. I mean, you know,
Why don't we just leave it the way it is?
I have no problem expressing sooner the better. I mean, that's
Well, yeah, I think
I
that
mean,
they
I'm
feel
behind
sooner the
that.
better. Okay.
shoot, but yeah. But it does take time to.
Also, we'll have to
get
be able to
labor
give
and
people an
everything.
idea how much it would cost to tear it down. Or they can figure that themselves if they want to make a bid on it.
Yeah, I probably won't put that in the
If
paper. I
they're,
would just
if
let
they're
them-
interested, they'll.
Winter shouldn't
they'll figure it out.
hinder taking it down. It's a bulldozer that's
6
hauling
months is a
everything
reasonable
off.
time. We've given everybody 6 months. Why do we want to push this?
Cause our 6 months sometimes turn into 9, 12 and more.
We have,
That's my only.
we're gonna have a contract that says 6 months.
So do I put that in the paper with you guys? And
This year?
we need
I
to
mean-
know if we're doing like the first of the year or 6 months.
No,
or-
6 months is plenty. I don't think we should push people to get it done before 6 months. We always say 6 months.
As long as it comes down, I don't care.
All right, so now we want to put it, advertise it in the paper. And then Todd's gonna have contract for the next meeting for us to look at.
Todd, will there be closing fees that we will have to go through? I mean, paying your fees. What else is gonna be involved? If people buy it for $1, how much is it really gonna cost us to sell it?
Well, part of the deal would be we're not, kind of like we did with the other folks. To us is we're not, warranty entitled, because we're not gonna give anybody assurance that our title is good or all the stuff that's probably associated with that. So, you know, I don't see the need to do a formal closing for those services. So, and it's not covered by a mortgage or anything, so the usual requirements would, you know, somebody wanting to have that would not be there. So my guess is if you want to probably establish some amount, I could put a blank in there for that, just say, you know, for battling in trouble and all that, $50 or $500, I don't know. So, but that's completely arbitrary at this point.
So it sounds like the only fees that we will rack up is just simply your fee for you writing up the contract.
Yeah, we already essentially have the deed. I can just change up names.
Yeah, filing fee with the county, it's like $12 or something like that too.
Yeah, I think it was something
You throw that on them,
15 or 30. I can't remember.
Okay.
90.
I just want to make sure it wasn't going to cost us $500 to transfer it over.
I was just throwing a number out.
Well,
there.
he's 175 an hour.
That,
Mhm.
that
How
has
much
no
has he
relation
already
to what
spent?
the actual cost would be. It would probably be,
Nominal.
yeah, probably be $100 maybe.
Okay,
Well, you can put that blank on there, and if we decide to put a 0 in it, then we decide to put a 0 in it. At least the line will be on there.
I get you.
okay. So he's gonna work on that. You're gonna put the, do we have to, Todd, do we have to make a motion to put it in the paper?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Okay, so for the ad, should I just put if you're interested, come to the next council meeting or something like that, and then that the house has to be down? Like, I don't know.
6 months.
Am I putting a timeline? Am I just putting come to the next council meeting for more information?
Is it per word on?
Yes, it is. So that's
I
the
think I would
thing.
shorten that.
Yeah.
I feel like contacting city council to let us know you're interested
There you go.
would be.
There.
Yeah. 'Cause if
Yeah,
they let
contact
her-
the,
or
Well,
I
if
said
they
city
let
council, I
Stephanie,
meant
Contact
City Hall.
email
Yeah,
us.
there you
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
and then you could email all this.
Yep.
Okay.
and then
Alright.
you could tell them then to kind of
Might
what
be
the deal
6
is.
months or a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beginning of the year. Okay.
okay. So that Annie's not here. Sally is not here either.
How did the rabies clinic go?
Good. She said there was quite a few. She said she thought maybe there would have been more if they were later, but that's kind of all she said.
You mean they
today.
have a little bit of $100 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that is for maybe Jenny's time. I don't really know.
Who pays for the
You know what I mean?
vaccine? Does Jenny pay for that?
We pay a nominal fee. I mean,
Oh, we don't pay.
No, I mean, we, other people, we pay.
Yeah, I mean, she
We-
just
we-
comes
yeah.
and does it, and she sells her stuff, and the city sells their stuff, and all it's ever been. So
My dog gets
it's
a
a
shot.
nice thing for her to do.
We
It
should
is.
send her a thank you card.
Yeah,
Do we normally do that?
Does she do that personally or through her business?
through her business. Yeah. I don't know if I did last year, but yeah, that was good.
She's kind of special.
I think she's the doctor at the clinic, but I don't think it's her clinic.
Yeah, no. Do we have any purchase orders or reserves? Okay. 74 Lakeview Circle dock permit request.
So this is the one from the last meeting. I actually talked personally with the guy. He came in. And I thought he was going to get back with me, but he didn't. But the builder came in and said it will not exceed 12 feet high, including the top of the handrails. So he was going to come in and write it on the permit, but I don't think he made it in this week. He was probably busy. So
In my image, it looks like it sank.
yeah, I know. It's when it's like a copy of a copy.
Yeah,
It
it gets a little faded after a while.
Sorry.
Stephanie, what's the name of the applicant?
Larry Escabel. Esquibel.
ESQUIBEL. From Dodge City.
Yeah, I was like, he's in Dodge City, so I don't think he thought very often, but
He's just replacing board for board, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Right,
No,
going
he's
to be
adding the
replaced
deck on top for a second level.
on the existing dock. Yeah, and so that's what they wanted to know about the
make
12
sure
foot.
that the top of the handrail was not to exceed the 12
When
feet.
did we start doing top decks?
There's quite a few out there that have that, but they have to.
I've seen actually a couple. I drove around when I was
Yeah.
doing that.
There's ones out there that are older that are grandfathered, but
Mhm.
That was my same question
Well,
last time.
They're grandfathered in, but do we allow them? Is a question.
we haven't had a whole lot of people apply for it, but there's nothing that I mean, at least as far as I've looked at it before, I haven't really interpreted that as being, out of the rules or whatever. It just says, 12 foot to the top of the structure. Usually it means a roof, but I completely agree that the top of the handrail should be subjected and not the deck, and then, be 15 feet up as the handrail or whatever, but
And then another 4 feet for a slide if they wanted to put that on top also.
yeah, well,
That's what I say. The whole entire structure
yeah,
is 12 foot.
yeah. And if we want to pass an ordinance that says you can't do a double decker, it's kind of one of those.
I am all for that.
Why? Why?
Well,
Well,
to me, that's
Or
just-
I'm for doubling their dock fee because they're getting double the space. So if they get one
That's-
space for 125, then if they want to do the double decker, then fine. Now it's 250 because you have 2 spaces in that area.
they're circumventing our rules.
Thank you.
From
No.
going this way, they just said, well, we'll just go
No,
up.
we
and get the
we
same
have a 12
exact-
foot, but we have a 12-foot rule.
And,
when they
and they're
build-
gonna exceed it.
No,
Where we lacked I
The
think to
railing-
describe what we meant by 12 foot, I always thought that it was a rough.
I mean, we have a rough size that you can't be bigger than. Well, they're saying, well, okay, if I can't be bigger than, you know what, I'm just gonna go around you and I'm gonna go up.
We just covered the fact
Mm.
that the 12-foot goes to the top of the railing. So there's nothing gonna go above that except people standing up maybe. That's the limit. Control.
No, it's just, I mean, logically, you pay for a space. So if you double the amount of space, you would pay more, right? I mean, if you have a lease and you pay for, isn't that how, I think that's how it works in the world. You double your amount of space, you pay more money for it.
I agree with that.
It's really,
But they're paying for a space that's 20 by 24 by 12. And they're not doubling that. They're using every inch that they possibly can.
I can see it from both sides, honestly, but
20 by 24 by 12 is the 12 is the height, right?
Yes.
Well, they're going way higher than that.
no, they're saying
No,
12 foot to the
12
top of the handrail. I mean, if here's your top deck, your
How
handrail, it's still 12 foot from the deck.
What's the mandatory height for a handrail? 36 inches?
It's gotta be around
It
there.
doesn't matter if it's 5 feet.
As long
But-
as it's below, it stops at 12
So,
foot.
I mean, that'd be like a 9-foot deck above the deck.
If there's a 20 by 24 cube there that's 12 feet tall, their dock has to fit within those confines. If it's taller, then sure, they're in violation.
But it'll be measured.
I still see it differently.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, could we have a vote, please? I'm moving right along here and I like that.
Here's another argument, not to just beat it going, but I'm sure that they talk about property values. I'm sure having that extra space increases their property value. Having the double space versus just having one with a roof. So
That's
They're-
probably right.
their increase is a hell of a lot more than what we get a year per that dock. Just saying that, just reiterating that.
Well, let's say that we rent storage units. And your storage unit is 12 by 24. That's how big the floor is. And it's 12 feet all the way to the ceiling. Well, people put their refrigerators and, big appliances or whatever. And then they realize, I still have 6 feet up there. So they put a shelf unit and they put extra stuff up above. The owner of that place isn't going to charge them more money for using the rest of their space that they're already paying for.
That's an inside space, and we're talking about a dock over on across our water, and I see it differently. And as I've expressed before, I already feel like we get nailed by the cheap dock fees that are out there anyway.
You're not going to get any argument from me on that, Brett.
They are cheap.
They're dirt cheap.
But I don't know. I mean, there hasn't been so many people in here as when we've tried to go up $20 a year. I mean, this place gets packed. I mean,
Well, how do you think the rich get richer?
Well-
By not paying what they should.
yeah, that's a good point.
And meanwhile, we're having to put off bids to do
But we do have some
necessary
people out
work.
there that are on fixed incomes that, they have their houses and stuff and they are on fixed
And they're-
income.
Yeah.
Talking about the ones that can afford the
I know what you're talking about.
$350,000.
those are dwindling too, Dolly.
Yeah.
I
Those folk.
know. I know.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me happy. But
I
anyway,
mean, all but coming extinct.
well, I'm getting there too,
Yeah, as they move away, the cabins are definitely, some of the older ones are demolished and something bigger.
Yes.
And 3 more built in the
My
spot.
folks at home, they had a double wall. Their home was demolished. They put up a big, huge house.
It happens
but
all over the place out there.
But we can't be
It really does.
haters, I
Yeah.
mean, we can't do that. Anyway, can we vote on this?
I move to approve it, subject to the 12-foot height restriction, and that applies to the top of the handrail.
let Sally know that when they get it done, they should contact her.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I think we need to address the second tier though.
I
All right,
agree.
we can do that on
I mean, they are
the
staying,
second meeting.
it's like Tim said, they are staying within the 2024 by
We can
12.
talk about
Yeah.
So what do you do? But I think we need to address the second deck issue.
Well, let's talk about that at the next meeting, which is the lake meeting, and we can think about that and get some input from the lake people on that.
I just wanna throw this. out
I'm
to the-
sorry, but it's their money, it's their property, and it just seems like we should give them a voice. A voice. Yes, Jim.
If you're considering a different guideline for the top, keep in mind, are you gonna charge different if people are using the top as a deck versus just simply using it as a roof? Because that will come up.
No, if it's just a roof, it's just a roof. But if you're using it as a second tier level to go up and actually sit down and entertain yourselves, then I think that's where the difference is.
Imagine what that can do for an Airbnb.
I just think there are certain
Well,
things
nothing
that
for
are
us.
20 by 24
Well, we're
this
already
way,
sticking it to the
like going up
Airbnb
this way.
No, we're really not. I mean, they're renting their stuff for profit and still paying less than all the lakes that I've ever got information from. So they're all rent. I mean, they're still.
I move
Moving
to approve
on.
the CMB license for the Fall Festival.
I was gonna make her ask.
I'm saying,
I wanted to hear her
You're
say
fine.
it. I wanted to hear her. All in favor? 1, 2, 3.
Quick girl on the grill over
Yeah. how about that? All right, next thing is 10-minute executive.
Other continuing business.
Oh, is this below that?
I just wanted to know, I wasn't able to go to the special meeting because I couldn't take off work to be there. But I wanted to know if Todd ever looked at any of that information. I know the partnership between the government and us, it's all weird and sticky. And Todd, did you ever have your eyes on that?
Did you see that, Todd?
I did,
When did you see that?
if I have I think I have my file back and forth, but we at least received from the two agencies that I know of that are involved in this, which would, gotten what I wanted, which was essentially their, agreement to, I think basically a reduction in both of those notes so that we know that we're not going out of pocket on. So, presuming that they hold to those statements, then we're good to go. At least as far as obligations against the property owners.
You remember when you asked for a letterhead from the Department of Housing? And he received that, and he has that.
No,
And-
I was just curious because at the time of when we had that special meeting and everybody voted to sell it, Todd hadn't looked at any of it. He hadn't seen any of it, hadn't looked at any of it. You had a special meeting, everybody voted to sell it. You were on vacation, correct?
It was contingent with him looking at it
But
before I
this
could
didn't
sign
say
it.
contingent. That's
Oh.
why I wanted to ask is because
We can write that in the minutes.
they didn't have that in the minutes that were just approved, that it was contingent on Todd looking at it. So everybody just voted to sell it without Todd even of looking at it. So that just concerned me. So if you can put my concerns to rest, but I mean, that did happen, so I just,
And I can go back and re-listen to the minutes. I don't remember it being stated.
Well, I know that I was told to wait and have Todd look at it. I know that I commented that I would get it done. And Todd, I called and talked to his assistant, and she said that he was on vacation, and so I bugged them until he wasn't on vacation, and then I sent it to him, and he read it and got right back to me because the people that were buying it were questioning why it was taking so long to get done. And
did you reach out to them and ask them if they could postpone it those 4 days? Like,
they offered to pull the deal. The bank told them they should pull the deal if we kept quibbling because he didn't understand what was wrong with the deal. The bank would, they actually said that. And so
So that's why we
I
had the
didn't
special
stall
meeting
it
without
because it
Todd's
wasn't necessary
knowledge.
to stall it. What?
I was just curious
Okay.
why it all went down like that without Todd looking at anything. And thank God we were lucky that it ended out great. So we can move on from there. I'm just wanting
Give
to
me a
make
little
sure.
bit of credit. I would not have signed something without Todd looking at it. I would not have done that.
You couldn't because the signing wasn't until the end of October, but to get into a contract to sell, which is what you did here, without being contingent of Todd looking at it, I just found it irresponsible, and I wanted to make sure that we were all in the clear.
I'll make a mud pie cake if it's in the recording that I talked about having Todd talk about it, and you can have a piece of it.
Well, then everybody will have to change the minutes then that was approved.
You can always make a motion to change the minutes.
That's
I
right.
mean, that's.
We can do that.
I know it. We've done it before. I know we can do that. I just want to make sure that it will be done. If it was said.
Anything else?
I just wanted to say my piece because if I sat on it, it festers. So I don't know
I
if
know
anybody else
we
feels
said
the
it.
same, but I just had to say it.
I know we said it before the motion. I made the motion. I'm not 100% sure that it was in the actual, I moved to sell Prairie Wind. I'm not sure that it was, that contingency was expressed there, but I know we were talking about it beforehand.
I remember.
Correct.
So that's,
Mm.
I don't know.
So was it
That's
recorded?
correct.
I think it was on YouTube and everything, wasn't it?
Was it on
Yes, it was all. I turned it
Oh, yeah,
on.
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it as official as
Because we didn't
possible.
have a recorder.
So as long as we're not in a
Yeah,
sticky
that
spot,
went through.
moving right along. And they're still interested in buying it,
They're under contract.
They're in contract now.
Yeah, they.
sight unseen and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was sight unseen. Because I don't know if they walked around. You can walk through that building without going in people's apartments and see it.
Yeah.
You can see the new roof and all that. So I personally can't vouch for that one. I took the other people from St. Mary's on a tour.
Yeah.
But I did not take that other group on a tour.
Well, that is.
There's what I was afraid they might be from.
No, they weren't. They weren't. They were just a nice young couple. Okay. So, any other continuing council business or discussions? Do you want Stephanie in the executive session or?
Okay,
Okay.
they're pretty entertaining.
All right, then
We do
the
want
next thing is it. Well, yeah. Don't you want? If it's gonna be about executive privileges. So we need a motion for executive meeting.
Move to go into executive session for 10 minutes for attorney-client privileges.
Second.
7:33. All in favor?
For letting me have a moment, Brad. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Do I need to be in?
It's the little things.
Yeah, it is. It's the only thing in life.
Everything was lost.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
That would be very helpful.
Star shining.